Welcome to the Wrestle Factor Podcast. My name is Josh. With me, as always, is my brother Jay.
What's up?
And we've got some more character changes this week on Raw and SmackDown.
Just seems like the superstar shakeup will never end.
Yeah, but I will say that the most notable change this week is a very welcomed one.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad's an understatement.
I mean, it is pretty bad, but in a different way.
Bad meaning good.
Yes.
Because English. Bray Wyatt finally revealed his new character on his Firefly Funhouse. He doesn't have a name yet or anything like that. We don't know how it's going to be in the ring or anything, but I'm not kidding you when I say this. When they first revealed his character on Raw, my jaw dropped. I don't know if everyone else loved it as much as I did, but I thought it was phenomenal.
I thought it was well presented.
Yeah.
You know, it's similar yet just different enough that I think it'll work. But I'm excited to see it.
Supposedly, this is what I read from a few people. There's no proof of this whatsoever. Is that now that Undertaker and Kane have really stepped away from a full-time role, they hardly are even part-time anymore, that this is going to be the new supernatural character that's I guess leading WWE. I've also heard that Undertaker has had some creative influence in this. I think he's helped create this character. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true, but if so, then I have a lot of faith for this to go somewhere.
That would be interesting. If you're building up Bray Wyatt on Raw, and then you're building up Aleister Black on SmackDown.
Which it kind of seems like they've kind of given Aleister Black Bray Wyatt's old, dark corner, cryptic promo character. But that hasn't gone very far yet, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But
yeah, I think they're mostly trying to improve his promo skills. Yeah. Whether it's scripted or off the top of his head. It's something. We'll see how it is.
Yeah.
We'll see how everything kind of changes after Money in the Bank. So.
Right. But like I said, I loved this new character. I loved it so much that I've actually gone on YouTube and watched it probably 4 or 5 times. And it's actually, we kind of give our own ratings of Raw and SmackDown for the week. And I liked it so much that it actually boosted my ratings quite a bit.
Really?
Which we'll get onto that after we're finished talking about Raw. But that's not the only character change. Second one was is still as noticeable, but not as good by any means. Nikki Cross. There was a backstage segment with Alexa Bliss. She's on the phone with baggage claim or whatever. Lost her gear again, so she can't wrestle. That's their excuse. And Nikki Cross walks up and is completely normal.
Clean hair, seems sane.
Not sweaty.
Yeah, just...
Honestly, she looked like she had been crying a bit.
It's
that's just what I saw.
She's mourning the death of her character.
Well, see, I thought they were just going to go for this completely normal Nikki thing, and then when she replaced Alexa in the Fatal 4-Way, she was back to her crazy character in the ring.
Yeah. My hope is that they're kind of reintroducing her, and maybe we'll see more of a lead to the craziness.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see her start out as
maybe
normal.
They're trying to get us to forget that she was like that, and then we'll see her snap or something.
Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah,
there needs to be some reason behind.
Well, if they're gonna do that, they need to make it not so obvious it's what she's already doing in the ring. She wasn't any different in the ring this week.
Well, it's she seems normal outside of the ring, and then she gets crazy in the ring, but then eventually she goes crazy.
Right. Which is fine. I just
if that's what they're going towards, okay then. But
yeah,
we'll see.
I write down a list of pros and cons for each show, and honestly, this is the only downside I had this week. The only con I had was that they need to explain a character change like this or behavior like this. It's fine if that's what they're doing, but they need a reason for it.
Well, technically, she didn't really have a character, going off main roster. She's had a match or two. She's technically debuted, but they haven't really showcased her. So I can understand them not really explaining it, but yeah, it is kind of annoying that a lot of people understand that, she was this crazy person and then, she just out of nowhere shows up on Raw for no reason other than the fact that they're probably, in London, which is, close enough to...
It's close to Ireland.
Yeah, Scotland.
Scotland. My bad. That wasn't racist. I get, honestly, I'm an American, and I get the two mixed up sometimes. I know the difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't, immediately recognize which one it is.
Sheamus is
Irish. Finn Balor is Irish.
Drew
McIntyre is Scottish. Yeah. Yes, I know.
It's slight difference, but yeah.
Yeah. Something I noticed this week, while we're still on the topic somewhat of changes, the stage and the ring, the ringside area looked different this week, and I thought it was actually kind of nice. It were just kind of subtle changes, but...
they didn't have the big light posts.
Yeah, they didn't have the LED ring posts, and they also didn't have the LED floor on the stage. It was just a solid gray.
It was just straight on the floor. They had the flags up instead of the thousands of lights on the side, so that was nice. It just seems so less distracting.
Right. The ramp also was quite a bit longer, and I noticed that they had the LED little bars on the side of the ring, kind of like how they did in 2012. Mm-hmm. Neither here nor there. I'm just noticing these little differences and stuff. I just thought a little bit of change was nice. The ringside floor was also black and not gray. I think black is much more aesthetically pleasing, especially for a wrestling show.
Yeah.
When you look at NXT, pretty much everything is dark except for the ring. I like how that looks.
Well, that's another thing about NXT is they just put lights on the ring whenever the action's happening. They don't light up the crowd.
They don't have the red and the blue lights out in the crowd, which honestly can be a bit distracting.
You're lighting up the crowd, you're lighting up the ring the entire time. Between the sides of the ring posts, the ramp lights up, you got this giant screen.
Yeah.
Which is, you're trying to get everybody's attention, but a lot of the times you're getting it at the wrong time.
Right.
So,
speaking of NXT, that the segment where Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman were backstage with Shane McMahon, I kind of thought the whole set there was very NXT. It was very dark, not brightly lit. It just, I don't know, something about the production in that segment reminded me of NXT. So I like that quite a bit. They could have done one step better and not had the crowd reaction to it, because that's also a thing I like with NXT is you just see the performers.
Yeah.
You can have your own reaction to it. Like I said, not really important stuff for the show, but I like those nice touches this week.
Yeah.
Moving on. How do you feel about the Universal title picture? Are you excited for this match?
I was excited for it. Yes, I feel like it could have been built a little bit better.
Yeah.
But after seeing the promo package this week, obviously I'm even more excited. Just the idea of AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins.
Oh yeah.
I hope that they could be able to continue this feud for a while, not just have it be a one-off.
Right. But not to interject, I've heard rumors that Baron Corbin is next for a Universal title feud. Which
me to AEW confirmed.
Me to AEW. No, I'm looking forward to it too, because Seth Rollins is my favorite. AJ Styles is up there too, probably my top 5.
My favorite.
His favorite. I liked in Seth Rollins' promo that they showed a clip of their indie match from 2006. Also, nice touch. I really like when they reference stuff outside of their own company.
Yeah.
It shows that they actually, have built a career for themselves, and it's not everyone is homegrown in the WWE. I would say 80% of them are not.
Yeah.
So,
and it kind of gets proven, week to week. There's a lot of people that get called up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there should have been some sort of interaction between them this week. They were both just in a promo, and then that was it. They had their big interaction last week with the contract signing, and I get it. They had the women's contract signing this week. You don't want to do 2 of those segments in 1 week, but there should have been something.
Yeah, for your world title picture,
right?
Neither of them were in front of the crowd.
Yeah.
So
it probably should have closed the show, honestly.
At least one of them could have had a match or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But because what did close the show was Braun Strowman and Sami Zayn, which, granted, Falls Count Anywhere match was actually better than I expected. But for Braun's Money in the Bank spot, which Sami Zayn won, thanks to Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre, so now Sami Zayn is in the match and not Braun Strowman.
Which speculation is that the reason that happened is because there's backstage heat on Braun.
I did hear about it. I didn't read into why that is.
I believe it stems from the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, Mania. Apparently, Braun was a bit stiff in the match.
So we're just now hearing about that?
I'm not sure. It's all speculation. Braun could be injured. He did have that sleeve on his arm for whatever reason. It might be that.
Yeah.
It could be backstage heat. I don't know. But having Sami in the match, I think will be a pretty good.
I think
addition.
it's a good change because they want Braun to seem like this unstoppable monster, and then when it comes to like his big matches, like they always change something. Like he was booked to go against Brock Lesnar, and then they took him out of the match because they didn't want him to lose to Lesnar, and they also didn't want him to beat Lesnar. Why did you even have him in the match to begin with?
Well, no, it was adding Kane to make it a triple threat, or
Kane.
Are you talking about a Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kane?
Yeah. Oh, no. You're talking about this year, weren't you?
Yeah.
Where they replaced him with Finn Balor.
Yes.
Well, that too.
I was like, what are you I haven't seen Kane in forever. What are you talking about?
Well, no, yeah. Going back a little bit, when they added Kane to just make it a straight-up triple threat, I could see that. Or, earlier this year when they replaced him with Finn.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I don't like seeing Braun in the Money in the Bank match, because it's pretty much...
Well, he won it last year. He doesn't need to be in it.
And he failed, But, yeah, because it's pretty much everybody gangs up on him, bury him in ladders. He'll come back like 15, 20 minutes later into the match, beat up everybody, and win the match.
I don't want to see
It's
that.
the kind of Roman over-pushed method of things.
And Sami Zayn has a lot of experience in ladder matches. He knows how to deliver those spots really well.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Mania 32 where he was in the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship and Kevin Owens was in there and they had all their spots together? That was so good.
They had that one suplex where I thought Kevin might have died.
Yeah.
So
Looked pretty
landed
dead.
right on a ladder.
We were at that show, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no need to go step by step with what happened in Raw this week. I guess just a few things I enjoyed this week. The Miz's promo to start the show when Roman actually coerced the new Miz out of him. That promo was really good. I love Miz's like fired up promos.
I really hope the Miz can get one more world title.
I think he deserves it.
Run. Like a legitimate one.
Yeah. The ladder spot in the women's match, I thought was a good addition for just being a Raw women's match. I think it was Nikki that dove off the top, or what? No, it was Dana Brooke.
Yeah, Dana.
Dana Brooke dove off the top of the ladder and took everyone out. I thought it was just a nice spot to have on Raw.
Yeah, it was.
Hype up their ladder match.
It was a cool little thing.
Because SmackDown didn't do a good job of hyping the women's match. We'll get onto that.
Only one of the competitors won the show.
And she didn't even talk about her match. Anyway. So, if you had to give Raw a rating this week, out of 5, what would you give it?
I don't know. The WWE really has this problem with their go-home shows. There's like they kind of mess up the hype for it. But other than that, just being a generally good show, I'll probably give it a 3 out of 5.
As you were talking just now, I had another thought that affected the rating, and unfortunately it made it go down just a little bit. So I had originally given it a 4 out of 5, oddly enough, because I enjoyed this episode of Raw as much as I enjoy NXT week to week, so I gave it a 4. But as we were just talking about the Universal title match, how there was nothing important going on with your world title for Raw, I'm going to knock it down at a half a point. So my rating this week is 3.5 out of 5.
When you got your United States Championship is being defended this Sunday, barely promoted.
No Raw tag title match at all.
Not really complaining about that.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Your world title, which I'll give it to them. The promo package was awesome.
Yes.
WWE's production team is great.
It's
but at the same time,
go-home show.
Yes.
They should have been an altercation of some sort. Maybe they brawl during an interview and it goes on for like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Something. They just talked about each other.
Or I think they showed that, and then Cole was like, "We'll have special interviews with both competitors later in the show." And I was thinking it's like the sit-down interview with Cole, but no, it was just a standard. It was just a regular backstage interview.
Yeah.
So. But
yeah, I put so the 3.5 out of 5. I put no Vince, no chaotic storyline resets or changes that weren't welcomed, at least. No goofy baby faces, Usos. No pointless matches. No wild card rule overkill, which I only counted 3 SmackDown wrestlers this week.
For the most part, it seemed like the wild card rule was for the same 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah, Roman was on this
and
week.
The Miz. I guess Shane doesn't technically count.
No, I count him as management.
Yeah,
so.
like he is a performer, but at the same time, yeah, it's management.
So. Okay.
On to
SmackDown. And I think what sticks out in my mind most from this episode is not a good thing, but Asuka and Kairi Sane now have an official tag team name. The Kabuki Warriors.
Let's say don't Google it.
Don't Google it.
Remember sorority sisters? Of course you don't.
Of course you don't, because that wasn't even a week. They didn't even say that on TV.
I think they called themselves that once, and then next week they were Team PCB.
Because if anything WWE can do right, it's coming up with tag team names.
Yeah,
Lacking
sure.
Experience.
Let's go with that.
Sarcasm. No, they're known as the Kabuki Warriors, which I get. It would be a fine name if it didn't mean something that they are completely not. They're Japanese, so give them a Japanese name and just put Warriors in there, because why not?
Yeah.
Kabuki. I mean, I'm no expert by any means, but my brief Google search just turned up that it's just a form of like dance and art and everything, which, I mean, I guess Asuka does a little bit of. She has the mask.
Yeah.
But the definition on Google also said it was like men only. It's not a thing women do anymore, according to Google.
Kabuki is a form of traditional Japanese drama with highly stylized song, mime, and dance, now performed only by male actors using exaggerated gestures and body movements to express emotions.
Right. So two Japanese women, one of which cosplays as a pirate.
Yeah.
Their manager is British.
Yes.
Are known as the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah. You basically just took the first Japanese word you could think of.
And just stuck a generic fighter's term on there, Warriors.
Yeah.
Like, you could have come up... Honestly, I probably could have toughed it out if they picked something besides... If they called it the Kabuki experience, that'd have been even a little better, oddly enough. Because Kabuki is an experience. It's an art form. It's a whatever. I just didn't like it. I hope they change it, honestly.
Probably. It'll be another backlash thing.
I read someone comment, they should have been called Sky Pirates 2.0. I'm like, no.
Well, first of all, they're not going to call them that because that would be referencing NXT.
Well, also, the Sky part is Io Shirai.
Yeah.
The genius of the sky. So they don't need to be called that just because Asuka's also Japanese. Moving on.
Yeah. No. Like the pirate empresses or something, like just something that's actually related.
Actually, I will say something that I hate more than their name is their mashed up entrance theme. It's literally just goes back and forth between their single entrances.
They turn both themes on and they just have a fader that goes back and forth.
They have a switch that clicks to the other one.
Like, all right, start with Asuka. Now we go to Kairi. And
that's just like, that's the laziness from this company that I don't like. You have...
Sorry, Paige, you lost your
CFO Money
job.
Is a company that makes pretty much all the entrance themes now. They come up with brilliant stuff, and yet you won't commission them to make a new song for this team. Whenever to my knowledge, there's nothing big going on right now where they need to make a whole bunch at once, like they do with the Mae Young Classic stuff like that. There's not a whole lot of new people right now, so why can't you just commission them and make another song?
Hashtag
or just take the two other ones and mash them together into something cool.
Hashtag bring back Jim Johnston. Ruthless aggression is what we need.
They won't do that. They just up and fired him, dude.
Yeah, because CFO money is probably less money.
Oddly enough.
Not saying that they don't do good work. They've got plenty of good hits to their name, but it's not 100% success rate.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Get
a new name. Get new music.
Later on in the show, we got a video package hyping the SmackDown Women's title match between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Just kind of showing their history through NXT together, coming out to the main roster. It showed Charlotte caring more about making it to the top than her friendship with Becky. And it showed Becky didn't want to take it anymore, turned on Charlotte, and now they've been butting heads ever since SummerSlam of last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they've done a better job hyping up the SmackDown women's match more than the Raw one, even though the Raw one, oddly enough, feels fresher because it's a challenger she hasn't fought before.
Yes.
I don't hate Charlotte, but I will say I'm tired of their matches a little bit.
Same. I think I can't remember where I heard it, but somebody made the perfect comparison. It's like a new version of John Cena versus Randy Orton.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a feud that's
I think
bad.
I said that one point too.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a feud that's bad. It's just we've seen it so many times since SummerSlam. All of this has happened just since SummerSlam last year.
Yeah.
So in less than a year,
probably like half a dozen matches
they
they're
just
close
can't
to.
Stop being compared to each
And
other.
them,
I want to see Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. Maybe Banks will come back for that.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
But I wouldn't have a problem with them having so many matches if it was spread out more. Like, if this many matches had happened over the course of 3 or 4 years, fine, cool. It's ace. But they want to, it's every other month.
Pretty much.
If not more often. Nonetheless, I am still curious to see what happens with the women's titles.
Definitely.
If she's going to keep both, if she's going to drop both, if she's only going to keep one, which one is it? We'll get on to our predictions as to what we think about that in another video. So, the WWE title now. I thought the last segment was very good go-home segment for their World Championship match, much better than what Raw did.
Yes. They were actually all in the show.
Yeah.
And they got physical, too. Like,
They've done a really good job building up Kevin Owens as this person that could legitimately beat Kofi, despite everything that Kofi's 11-year journey and him beating the gauntlets and beating Daniel Bryan.
And
like Kevin Owens, I still believe could beat him for the title.
Yes.
And I wrote down some quotes this week, and this is one that Kevin said in this last segment. He said, "For the first time in 11 years, you find yourself on your own, and trust me, it's at the worst time possible."
Yeah.
And I was like, dang.
And he was like, well, maybe I'm not alone either.
Yeah.
And, Sami Zayn coming out to help him. I think...
he's kind of just even the playing field a bit.
Yeah. I much prefer Sami doing this over what he's doing on Raw. But I think...
Well, I like his character on Raw. I don't care for him being involved with Braun Strowman. That's just kind of like, we don't have anything else for you, so here's Braun.
Yeah, throw somebody else to Braun if you want.
The problem with that is they like to book Braun to beat people up. So if you're trying to push somebody and you're just like, well, give him to Braun, like you've just messed up what you were trying to do.
How can you have Braun beating up Sami on Monday and then the next night he's helping out the guy challenging for the world title?
Yeah,
it's like it makes no sense.
It's whatever.
But I think one of my favorite moments of that segment at the end was after they'd beaten Kofi up a little bit and Kevin's got him down in the corner. He's like, I'm just going to beat you enough so that way you can still show up on Sunday. It's like,
yeah, I like that too.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So just a few pros and cons before we go on to the rating. I thought the brawl spot opening the show was pretty good. I thought Ricochet running down after that fatal 4-way to... I think he was fighting with Andrade.
Yes.
And then he ran up the ladder, grabbed the briefcase.
No, he jumped onto the ladder.
Yes. No, it was Ali.
Andrade was going up for the ladder after the match. He had won. And then Ricochet's music hits as he's about halfway up. Ricochet runs down that extra long rampway or whatever.
And then he does the top rope jump onto the ladder, knocks Andrade off, grabs the briefcase.
And just
very nice.
Books it.
That's what you can expect to see out of Ricochet in their match.
Which it still gives me high hopes for Andrade. because he didn't touch the briefcase.
Right.
They were kind of making this point on commentary, at least Monday night, is like, oh, it's probably bad luck if you touch that before Sunday. You know, just kind of like a thing.
They changed their mind 2 hours for the show anyway, so.
I mean, yeah, it could be that. It's usually if they're losing or, you know, they're down on the go-home show, it's more likely that they will win.
Yeah.
Going by wrestling logic.
The cons I've written down, we already discussed the Kabuki Warriors. Don't need to bring that up again.
Ugh.
My other 2 things, Graves and Saxton and their childish bickering during that handicap match made me want to completely turn the show off for the rest of the night.
It was entertaining at first because I thought it was just their normal back and forth, but then the match kept going on and they just would not stop.
Right. And what I said to you before we started recording, I like it whenever Byron says something and it can be debated or whatever, and then Corey just roasts him on it.
Yeah.
I love that part. But when they just bicker like children, I hate it.
And actually listening to it and like the point that Byron's trying to argue, Corey immediately knocks down, and yet Byron just can't understand it.
Yeah.
You know, I think he was complaining about how Shane was using his privilege or whatever to make Daniel Bryan and Rowan the champions. And then, you know, it was once the Usos came out to challenge him and try and make it fair. And Corey was, I'm sure, making the point of that, yeah, he was going to do that, but he still then made the match, and Daniel Bryan and Rowan still won, so what's the point? Obviously, he made the right choice.
Right, he still changed his mind for the better.
Yeah, he still made the match.
And his pick still won.
Yeah, and exactly. So
like, what are you arguing about?
It's like, yeah, if he had said, no, they're just the champions, deal with it, yeah, I can see why you'd be upset. But no, he made the match, they still won, shut up.
Yeah. The other thing I didn't care for was they did a poor job of hyping the SmackDown women in the Money in the Bank match. 3 of them cut cell phone promos, and the last one, Mandy Rose, did not even, to my knowledge, mention the match whatsoever. Well, I'll take that back. She did.
I'm sure she was like, I'm going to be Miss Money in the Bank this Sunday.
No. What she did was when her and Sonya were walking down, she said that she was going to win it so that we can then challenge for the women's tag titles, which answers my question from a couple weeks ago, but that's all the hype she did.
Yeah. Which kind of leads me to believe that she's probably not going to win.
Probably not.
If they're still focused on them being a tag team.
So.
But there was a little bit of dissension, apparently, because it seemed like Sonya had the match won, and then Mandy wanted to, you know, pick up the pin, and that's what ended up feeding them a loss.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. You also don't even, I'm pretty sure you don't even have the women's tag team match, or tag titles being defended.
They're not.
Yeah, no.
The only thing the Iconics did this week is they were on commentary for that match, and that was it. They weren't on Raw. Nothing. No tag titles are being defended this week.
I mean, hey, they're not losing, apparently.
Actually, Daniel Bryan and not Eric Rowan anymore, he's just Rowan. They are having a match against the Usos, but it's just a tag match. It's not for the belts.
So let's see. You barely had your Universal Champion on this week. You barely had your United States Champion on this week. I don't even think you had your Raw Tag Champs on.
No, they were not on.
Your SmackDown Champs were on.
We're on without the titles.
Yeah.
And your Women's Tag Champs were on commentary this week.
Yeah. Your WWE Champion in the main event segment.
Your Intercontinental Champion lost his match.
Yes.
Not that he's defending it anyway, but he's in the Money in the Bank match, and you would think...
At least he was on the show. I will give him that. He was at least competing in a match. It was a fatal 4-way, so you could say, you know, maybe there was something there.
And at least he didn't take the fall.
No, he did.
Did he? I don't remember what I write from 1 minute to the next.
Dang it.
Who won that fight?
We are not well prepared.
He did take the fall.
Exactly.
What the hell?
The IC title is a curse, honestly.
Yeah,
but
Andrade pinned him.
You know, at least SmackDown somewhat promoted their champion. Like, the Iconics probably weren't even supposed to be on their show, and then they were like, well, we need them on somehow.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. We're about half an hour, so we'll finish up our review and rating. What would you rate SmackDown this week? And how would you compare it to Raw?
Considering the go-home angles for the most part were booked better, I probably give it a 3.5.
3.5. I gave it a 3 because this was one of the rare instances where I thought Raw was better. They each had their own match that they didn't really hype too well. But SmackDown for some reason just felt like half the show was kind of filler. I didn't like that they felt it was necessary to basically repeat what they did with Shane, Miz, Elias, and Roman from what they did the night before.
Yeah.
Like, you pretty much did the rest of your build on Raw. You don't need to do all that same build on SmackDown and, have the women's Money in the Bank match suffer what the whole pay-per-view was built around. So for that, it knocked it down quite a bit. And they showed the Bray Wyatt thing again, but because I'd already seen it, it wasn't enough to save that rating.
Yeah.
So just for me personally, SmackDown got a little bit lower than Raw this week. Not that my opinion really matters, but that's just how I felt about it. Just real quick, we're going to go over the Fantasy League points before we get out of here. Let me change this up real quick. We'll go over our top 15 like always. Three-way tie for 15th place. 24 points each. We got Asuka, Kevin Owens, Lacey Evans. Cool? Awesome.
That's interesting.
Hang on, just a second. I'm curious how Asuka has more than Kairi. No, Kairi Sane does have more. I think she was in a match on her own at one point.
Asuka?
Kairi Sane. Because Kairi has more.
Maybe.
Anyway. Let's see. 15th place. Yeah, I already got that. 14th place, Naomi with 25 points. 13th, Shane McMahon with 26. 12th is Seth Rollins. That's sad. 28 points. Your Universal Champion is in 12th. 11th is Finn Balor with 29. 10th is Kairi Sane. Actually, no, sorry. It is a 4-way tie for 7th.
Jeez.
Baron Corbin, Eric, Ivar, and Kairi Sane all have 30 points. 6th place is Rowan with 33. 5th place is AJ Styles with 34. 4th place, Daniel Bryan with 35. 3rd is Roman Reigns with 45. Becky Lynch still holding number 2 with 60. And still in first place is Kofi Kingston with 75 points.
Yay.
The top earners this week were Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. I keep calling him Eric Rowan. He's not Eric anymore. Eric's a different guy.
Just Rowan.
Just Rowan. He's got so much what?
Just got so much beef.
Okay. And Jay is still ahead in the points. 462 total to my 421. Hopefully that all changes on Sunday. We've got, if all goes well, we'll have a predictions video that comes out this weekend. And just to remind you guys, whoever wins the predictions gets their choice of either adding 10 points to their overall roster, or they can choose a wrestler from the other person's roster and negate their points for the upcoming week. So, for example, if I win and I choose AJ Styles, AJ's points that he earns on Raw and SmackDown will be null for that upcoming week. You can still, count them.
All points will count for the pay-per-view, but
we'll still, keep track of them, but as far as the score sheet goes, it'll be 0.
Yes.
I had an idea I want to propose to you while we're doing the podcast. We're going to predict the matches, of course, whoever's going to win those. But I wanted to run the idea by you of doing an extra prediction.
For if somebody's going to cash in?
Well, not necessarily. Just something that you think will or won't happen for Money in the Bank. And if you win, or if you get that prediction correct, you get an extra point. But if you get it wrong, your opponent gets a point. What do you think? It can be anything. I think Roman Reigns is going to win by disqualification. You get an extra point if he does win by disqualification.
Let's do him half points. And then if it doesn't come to fruition, there's no negative towards it. That way, if we want to add something like that, we can.
I think we should just make it one.
I just don't like the idea of, like, oh, if I try and predict all the match finishes, and then I'm wrong on half of them, then you just get a whole bunch of extra points.
No. I'm not talking about the matches. I'm saying that extra prediction. If you were to get that one wrong, your opponent gets an extra point.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, if I wanted to make an extra prediction for every match. Like,
no, I'm talking about one extra prediction overall for the whole show.
All right.
You feel me, dog?
Sure.
You with me now?
Big dog.
Because I've got a prediction, but I don't want to say it until our predictions video, and you have one ready as well.
Oh, that sounds like a cliffhanger.
Dun 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 dun.
Guess they'll just have to tune into the predictions video.
Well, I've talked about it on the podcast, so we have to do it now. Anyway, that's all we have time for. Catch us this weekend for the Money in the Bank 2019 predictions, and then next week for more wrestling, more updates on the Fantasy League. Thank you. Peace.
Yowie wowie.